You ever have one of those neighbors who just does whatever they want like they own the entire block? Well, meet Karen. Yeah. That kind of Karen. I came home from work one Friday, just looking forward to a quiet evening, and boom, there it was. Care SUV. Parked smack in the middle of my garage no text. No call, not even a knock on the door. She just slid in like it was her personal parking space. At first, I thought maybe it was a mistake. Maybe she was visiting someone and got confused. But nope. She had the nerve to tell me she deserved the spot because the driveway was full and mine was just sitting there. I didn't even know what to say. Now here's the thing. This wasn't the first time she crossed the line, but it was definitely the last straw. I gave her a chance to move it. I was calm. I was reasonable. But Karen? She doubled down, refused to move the car, and then disappear for the weekend like it was no big deal. That's when I got creative. Real creative. And let's just say, I made sure she'd never park there again how. Well, let's just say it involved a real estate listing, one bold move, and a very surprised SUV owner. But before I tell you how it all went down, let me take you back to where it started, and why selling my garage might have been the most satisfying decision I've ever made. So here's the backstory. Karen moved into the house across the street about 6 months ago. At first, she seemed all right. You know, the way from the mailbox type. But that didn't last long. She started with little things, leaving her trash cans in front of my driveway, playing loud music late at night, and letting her dog roam into my yard like it was the neighborhood park. I tried to be patient, I really did. I figured maybe she was just adjusting, maybe things would settle down. But instead, it just got worse. She had this weird sense of entitlement, like the whole street was hers and the rest of us were just lucky to be here. Then came the garage stunt. I'd recently been fixing up that old detached garage behind my house. It was nothing fancy, but I put in some time. Fresh paint, new locks, even cleaned out space to maybe start a little workshop. But Karen must have seen it as free parking. That Friday, she just drove in, closed the door behind her, and acted like it was completely normal. I asked her about it, and she literally said, "Well, it's not like you were using it for anything important." I was stunned. No apology, no offer to move, just attitude. I talked to a few neighbors and guess what? They'd had similar issues with her too. Some were afraid to confront her, others just gave up trying. That's when I realized I couldn't let this slide. But trust me, I wasn't planning revenge. I was planning a lesson. I spent the entire weekend stewing over it, pacing around my house, my blood boiling each time I looked at that damn SUV blocking my garage. The more I thought about it, the angrier I got. It wasn't just about the car, it was about the principle. Karen had crossed a line, and I wasn't about to let her get away with it. But what really hit me was how selfish she was, how everyone else seemed to just put up with her nonsense. No one ever called her out. No one ever stood up to her. And that's when it clicked. Maybe I had to be the one to show her there were consequences. But the more I brainstormed, the more I realized I needed something bigger than a simple confrontation. I had to hit her where it hurt. And that's when I started considering something extreme, selling the garage. I didn't just want to take it back. I wanted to take her down a peg. Make her realize that her behavior had consequences. But this wasn't just about the garage, right? It was about teaching a lesson that maybe no one else had the guts to teach her. The more I thought about it, the more it felt like the only way to really get her attention. I wasn't just going to throw a tantrum. No, I was going to do this right. I started looking into real estate listings, seeing what properties in the area were selling for, and figuring out if this was even possible. I spent hours researching how to sell a structure like that, the legal stuff, the forms I'd need. I had to be smart about it. But of course, as I dove deeper into this plan, things started to get complicated. My mind raced with the possibilities. What if she fought back? What if the neighbors got involved? What if this whole thing blew up in my face? Yet, at the same time, I felt more and more sure of myself. There was no going back. I was doing this. And when Karen found out, she'd never park in my garage, or anyone else's, again. By the time Monday rolled around, I was ready. I'd already made the decision. I'd drawn up the listing, set the price, and prepared everything I needed to make this official. The garage, now officially listed as a standalone property, was just waiting for someone to snatch it up. Of course, I couldn't just leave it at that. I had to make sure Karen knew exactly what was happening. I had this gut feeling she wasn't going to back down easily, that she'd put up some kind of fight. But what she didn't know was that I wasn't going to give her a chance to. I waited until the afternoon, then casually strolled over to her house, trying to look as calm as possible, but I could feel the tension building in my chest. When she answered the door, she had that same smug smile, like she knew something I didn't. I could already tell she had no clue what was coming. I took a deep breath and told her about the garage sale. Just wanted to let you know, I said, I've decided to sell it. That space you've been parking in, it's not mine anymore. It's going up for sale. Her eyes flickered for a second, and for a split second, I thought I saw panic. But she quickly recovered, trying to play it off like it didn't matter. You can't do that, she snapped. You can't just sell it. It's your garage, sure, but I'm not the only one who's used it before. I smiled, but the truth was, I was enjoying every moment of this. Maybe you should have thought about that before you parked in it without asking. The words came out colder than I meant, but at that moment, I didn't care. I was finally taking control. Her face twisted into a scowl, and she took a step back, muttering something under her breath about going too far. She slammed the door before I could say anything else, but I didn't need to say anything. The next few hours would be the most suspenseful. I had already set up a viewing for the garage later that day, and I could feel a storm coming. This wasn't going to end quietly. As I walked back to my house, feeling oddly satisfied with how the conversation went, I thought it was over. But Karen wasn't the type to just let things slide. I had barely gotten inside when I heard it. Asterisk, asterisk, the sound of tires screeching, asterisk, asterisk. My heart dropped. I looked out the window, and sure enough, there she was, Karen, speeding down the street in her SUV, heading straight for the garage. I couldn't believe it. Was she seriously going to try to park there again after everything I just told her? But as she got closer, I realized it wasn't just about her parking. She had a look of desperation on her face. She wasn't driving like a woman who was confident she had the right to park there. She was panicking, like she knew something was about to go wrong. That's when I saw it. Asterisk, asterisk, a man in a suit, asterisk, asterisk, walking up to my driveway. I didn't recognize him, but he was holding a piece of paper and looking around like he was expecting something. Karen pulled up to the garage, and I watched in real time as she got out of the SUV and started talking to him. My pulse raced. The last thing I needed was someone else interfering with my plan. I darted outside, just in time to overhear their conversation. Karen was telling the man that she had a claim to the garage and that I was trying to sell something that wasn't mine. The man looked over at me and raised an eyebrow, as if he knew something I didn't. I walked closer, my mind racing. Is there a problem here? I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. Karen glared at me, but the man only smiled, holding up the piece of paper. Actually, he said, this is a asterisk, asterisk, legal notice, asterisk, asterisk. You're being served. The ground seemed to drop out from under me. I stood frozen, my mouth going dry. It hit me. The stakes were higher than I ever imagined. The garage wasn't just mine to sell. Karen wasn't just a neighbor with an attitude. She had asterisk, asterisk lawyers, asterisk, asterisk involved, and it looked like this whole thing was about to spiral into something much bigger than a petty parking dispute. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. A legal notice. I repeated, trying to wrap my mind around it. The man in the suit was still holding the paper out, and Karen was standing there, smug as ever, like she'd won. You're being served for asterisk, asterisk, illegally listing asterisk, asterisk, your garage for sale without the proper title, the man said, his voice calm but firm. My heart hammered in my chest. The world around me suddenly felt like it was spinning out of control. I don't know what kind of game you think you're playing, but this is a matter of property rights. I felt my throat tighten. All of a sudden, everything I thought I had planned so carefully felt like it was falling apart. Karen hadn't just parked in my garage. She'd apparently been working behind the scenes, and I was clearly out of my depth. That's when I glanced at the piece of paper, and the words hit me. Asterisk, asterisk, shared property agreement. Asterisk, asterisk. My stomach churned. I had no idea what she was talking about, but it was clear that I was being blindsided. It turned out that Karen had somehow manipulated the system to get her name on a shared agreement for the garage, making it appear as if we co-owned it. She had secretly filed paperwork with the county, claiming part of the property as hers. I couldn't believe it. For months, I'd been treating the garage as mine, and in her mind, I was in violation of this supposed agreement. But just when I thought the walls were closing in on me, something shifted. The man in the suit took a step back and looked at Karen with a raised brow. "Wait a minute," he said, flipping through the paper. "This isn't right. This agreement, this was never fully filed. It's incomplete." I blinked, trying to make sense of what was happening. Karen's confident expression faltered for the first time. The man continued, "There are discrepancies here. The paperwork wasn't properly recorded with the county. It looks like asterisk asterisk you asterisk asterisk never finalized it." Karen froze. The look of shock on her face was priceless, and I couldn't help but feel a strange sense of satisfaction. It turned out that Karen's sneaky tactic had a hole big enough to drive a truck through. She'd had tried to pull off a fast one, but hadn't done the paperwork correctly. The garage wasn't shared property after all. It was mine, and I had the right to sell it. Just when I thought I had everything figured out, though, the final twist hit me like a freight train. The lawyer, who I now realized was asterisk asterisk Karen's asterisk asterisk lawyer, looked at me with an apologetic expression. "There's just one more thing," he said, as he handed me another piece of paper. "I'm afraid you also need to address your asterisk asterisk homeowners association asterisk asterisk first. There's a clause about not selling structures without permission." I couldn't believe it. It felt like the universe was just playing with me at this point, but that wasn't the end. As I looked at Karen, watching her smile start to fade, I knew one thing for sure. This battle wasn't over yet, not by a long shot. The moment the lawyer handed me that second piece of paper, I felt like I was in a never-ending loop of red tape. But instead of panicking, I took a deep breath. There was no way I was letting this woman control me anymore. I'd already taken back control of the garage, and now I just needed to make sure I finished what I started. I spent the next few days going through every piece of paperwork I could get my hands on, making sure everything with the homeowners association was squared away. The more I dug, the more I realized that Karen had been playing a dangerous game, one where she thought she could get away with bending the rules, but she hadn't counted on me fighting back. In the end, I did exactly what I set out to do. I sold the garage. The HOA gave me the green light once all the proper paperwork was filed, and I made sure to send Karen a nice, formal notice that she had no claim on it. She tried to fight back, of course, but it was too late. Her legal threats fell apart as quickly as they had started. As for the garage, it was gone, sold to a local buyer who appreciated the space just as much as I had once. And as for Karen, well, let's just say she learned a valuable lesson. Don't mess with people who won't let you get away with your nonsense. The whole experience taught me that standing up for yourself isn't always easy, but it's always worth it. Sometimes you have to take matters into your own hands to ensure that people know their boundaries.